Knowing how to work with the energy of the winter season, no matter where you're located, is the most powerful way to create rituals and spells that will greatly impact your life. And to know how to work with the winter season requires you to understand what's happening in the earth, what's happening on the planet, and what's happening and how that impacts your body. And so today I'm going to give you 3 rituals that you can do that will greatly impact the power and the outcome of your spells and rituals the rest of this winter season. Let's go. Everything you need to know about how the winter and fall season impacts your magic, your body, the spells and the rituals that you cast, as well as your dreams and the connection to your psychic gifts. All of that is impacted when we go into the winter season. So today I'm going to talk specifically about that, how to know what to work with, what energies to work with as the earth is slowing down. And it doesn't matter where you're located, what climate you experience, but during this time of year, there is a change energetically on the planet, especially in North America. And that change that happens on our planet is also happening in our lives and in our bodies. And when we learn how to combine what we know to be true about this energy and work with those cycles, then all of your magic, your rituals, your spells, your communing with spirits, your ability to work with your own inner wisdom or intuition changes. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So if you're new to my channel, hello, I'm Tahverlee. I'm a high priestess, a practicing witch, and the founder of the Moon Temple Mystery School, and I'm really excited that you're here. You're welcome to subscribe and follow along with all the content that I release here, because this is something I'm truly passionate about. I love to do this work. I love to talk about magic, and I also love to really understand how, when we talk about and study high levels of magic, we're actually talking about and studying transformation. Transformation of the greatest kind, which is our lives. So no matter what type of rituals you do or don't do, or spells you do or don't do, there's always a space for us to look at things as important as energy, collective energy, the energy of our planet, the energy of what's happening in our world, and know how it impacts us. And when we know how to read the energy of what's happening at the current time, and I don't mean in terms of what's happening in politics or what's happening in the wars in other parts of the world. Those are real. Those energies impact us. But I'm talking about the natural cycles that this planet that we call home exists on. Because those cycles, those changes of seasons, also happens inside of our body. And back in the day, before we had technology and all the crazy light sources that we have, we had to work with the cycles of the sun because it was our source of light. It was the source of how we were able to prepare food, to be able to see. And our bodies were attuned to moving through the cycles of nature. And that's because our bodies were the conduit to everything we needed to know about our tribes, about our lands, about what was coming in the sky, what storms were coming, when it was time to harvest, when it was time to forage, when it was time to hunt. And that connection to our body still exists, even though we have a lot of things that have replaced it. In fact, I would say, the common thing that I talk about is our bodies used to be the cell phone. Before the existence of technology the way it is, we used our bodies as the place to go to find out what was happening around us. And the way that you could do that is by really making sure that you sink into the circadian rhythm of what's happening. And so when we get closer and closer into the winter, we're seeing less of the sun and more of the dark. So of course, this is a powerful time to do shadow work, or just even explore your beliefs about the darkness, or your beliefs about balancing light and dark. And as we get closer and closer to the winter equinox, things really start to change. I meant winter solstice. You'll notice I just paused there for a minute. I'm like, wait, it's not winter equinox, it's fall equinox. There, you just saw my brain working at full speed. I'm like, wait a minute here. Winter solstice. Equinox is the space between the solstices. So the winter solstice that comes up in the third week of December is really the peak of when we see this equal parts of light and dark. And there are many, many, many rituals and practices you can do to sit with yourself and see where you might be out of balance. Because when we are living in a time when there's equal parts of light and dark in our day, then our bodies actually want to express equal parts light and dark. And the other thing that happens when we get closer and closer into the winter solstice is our bodies need more rest. Because our bodies are created to move with these circadian rhythms. And we have been programming ourselves to overcome that for hundreds and hundreds of years. Many of us go to and from work when it's still dark outside. Meanwhile, our bodies still crave the sun that happens at noon. Wherever you are, the noon hour of your day, our body still craves to be outside. And then when it gets darker earlier and earlier and you go into the evening, your body actually craves a little bit more rest. As opposed to if you think of summer solstice, making sure I didn't start calling things equinoxes that are solstices. When you are in the summer solstice, your body wants to be in the sun the whole time, right? Like morning, noon, and night. It's like sun, 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 sun. And our bodies crave a little bit less rest. So I have 3 rituals that I want to give you that really are the most powerful ways to understand and feel into the energy of what the winter season means because this is how we cast more powerful spells. When you are moving with the energy of the earth at all times and you sink into that circadian rhythm, you can also feel yourself tapping into the crystalline grid, which is the energy field that lives on top of this planet where everything is interconnected, from nature to the cosmos to everything that's happening in the world, and our body is a part of that. So when we sink into the crystalline grid, then we have these threads or pathways that open up in our psychic gifts that just really explode. Or we have access to different types of dreams because our bodies just explode with this connection. So think of it like the crystalline grid as being power sources that can come into your body, right, and give you information, which is how your psychic gifts work. And it still comes through your body. But that crystalline grid becomes more reachable when you move with the circadian rhythm of what's happening during the season. And so if we think of winter and on the wheel of the year, I teach a lot of things on the wheel. In fact, my first book that's coming out soon, many of you know I have a book coming out soon, and I have a waiting list if you would like to be on the list. It's tahverlee.com. You just go there, you get on the waiting list, and I'll let you know when my book is ready. This book actually is the winter because it's set in the north. And so if we look at life as a wheel, to the north of that wheel is the element of earth and it's winter. To the east, this is my east, so to your east would be the element of air, and it's the spring. The south is that peak of the summer I was talking about. That's the element of fire. And when you move to the west, that's the fall and the element of water. And we move through these cycles in many times in our life, not just through the seasons. They're like cycles of your soul, seasons of your soul. So the winter season of your soul is asking you to do what a tree does in the winter, which is focus on fortifying your roots, letting the old leaves go and drop, which is why we see this as such a powerful time to do shadow work, is because it's the time to let shit go. Like, cut out the things that aren't working, go inward, spend time with yourself, fortify your roots. So when the spring comes again, you can grow bigger branches. And the bigger branches are the things that lead you into higher levels of consciousness or lead you to more power to be able to cast your rituals and spells. But right now we go inward in the winter. It's almost like we can cloak up from the energies of things that are not serving us, the relationships, the parts of your life that aren't great. And it's funny because I'm saying this at the same time as a lot of people are so busy because they're going into the Christmas season. And so it's like, okay, my body actually needs more rest. If I'm attuned to the circadian rhythm of what's happening, then my body wants more rest than to go more inward. And for a lot of people, this is the time that you are the most social because of the holiday season. And I have a birthday in December, so it's even more so. Especially if you have kids and it's busy and there's a lot of things happening in school, or if you have a large family, or even if you don't have a large family, a lot of people crave that high level of social activity. But what we're actually craving is the community aspect of when we used to sit around the fire in the winter because there was no sun. The sun went down early and we craved the time to sit around a fire with our tribe or our community and share stories. And so you can do both. You can still get into the busy Christmas season, but with the caveat that your body is actually wanting to move a little slower. There's not one or the other, there's both. And so going inward means just making small slices of time in your busy schedule for more rest, for more meditation, to sit in the quiet, to truly embrace how you're feeling and what's happening and what leaves are you letting drop. And we can be in that all the way through into January. And it doesn't matter what year you're watching this. It doesn't matter what season, meaning what weather or elements are happening. So if you live in a warm climate like I do, it's, going into November, it's absolutely beautiful outside. It's like 80 degrees, but I'm still in the winter. I mean, the sun still sets really early here. So it doesn't mean winter as in you have to have snow to be in the winter of your soul. That's not it. And the other thing that happens a lot when we're in the winter is our psychic gifts change. Most often they go deeper into our body, lower into our belly, less like high crown chakra level openings. Those can happen, but that is more during the equinoxes. And because we're just coming off of when the veil was the thinnest, and we did a lot of work with ancestors, and we do a lot of work with the spiritual realm, and we pass between the spirit world and the human world. That happens a lot when the veil is thin as we approach fall equinox and Samhain or whatever you celebrate around the end of October. So we're kind of like past that, meaning the veil isn't as thin. The sun isn't as present. And the darkness comes. So ritual number 1 is to truly just allow yourself to be in the cycle of a slower season or in this circadian rhythm. So whenever possible, spend time doing slower activities in the dark, by candlelight, by sleeping, by doing your rituals and spells around the questions of where am I in and out of balance between the darkness and the light. That's a super powerful way to just honor the season. If there's anything else you do, because I'm assuming if you watch me on this channel, or even if you don't and you're new, I'm going to tell you that journaling is the way to create your life, because you're exploring your thoughts, your beliefs, your energies, and then from there you create powerful intentions. And we can't create powerful intentions until we clear out all the gunk that's stopping us from truly being able to explore what we want. And so the rest of this month, of course, we're going to be doing deep work in setting our intentions for 2025, setting our goals, and maybe you're even creating a vision board, or you're doing deep work on yourself to explore what in 2024 you are leaving in the rear view. I do a lot of spells and rituals for people this time of year to end the year and start fresh. And a lot of times we need to journal in order to release all of the things that have happened so we can really look at 2025 with fresh eyes. And the best way to do that is in this first ritual, which is to sit in the dark. Do your journaling in the dark. Spend your dark in a little bit more contemplation instead of busyness. Whenever you can. And as you get closer to Christmas and you have holiday parties or events, just schedule little bits of time. And I mean schedule. Look at your calendar and say, okay, I have events Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the last 2 weeks of the month, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Mondays, I'm going to sit in contemplation in the quiet, in the dark with myself or with my family. and we're going to rest. We're going to do things that feel slow. Okay, ritual number 2 is sitting in the dark by candlelight and fire gazing. So we're awakening this long forgotten desire we have to sit in community around a fire. And it doesn't matter if you have a community or a family to do this with. I mean, this is for you. Sit and gaze at a candle, or if you can have a bonfire or you have a fire pit, sit with a fire and just stare and gaze at the fire and watch the way that it moves. And if you're already in a journaling practice, then I suggest you do some type of journey or guided meditation, or find one of my guided meditations. You might even spend this time sitting in the dark, gazing at a flame to bring in your spirit guides. Because even if you don't do formal practices to create 2025, which I hope you do, vision boards, intention setting, cast your wheels, all the magic, all of that can be found at moontempleschool.com. But if you don't do that, then take yourself on a journey to meet your spirit guides. I have a free download that'll help you with that. It's called Connect to Your Spirit Guides. I'll put the link in the show notes. Totally free. It'll walk you through everything you need to know about your spirit guides. But sit in candle gaze and connect with yourself, with your spirit guides, with any dark goddesses. If you took the Dark Goddess series, connect. Sit by candlelight, preferably on the floor, with no scheduled outcome other than just being with you and you, or you and your spirit guides. And if you're going to do any type of journey, you might want to journal, of course, after that. And then number 3, focus specifically on dream time. Because learning how to be in charge or choose how you want to experience your dreams means going to bed with intention. Going to bed with intention means clearing out all the energy that you've carried through the day, like just writing it out, grounding, moving your body, breath work, leaving your phone aside for an hour before you go to bed, and creating an intention on how you want to experience your dreams. Now, I always say that rest is the most important part. So if you need rest, don't do rituals before bed. Don't plan to go into other realms or the spirit realm while you're dreaming. If you need rest, rest. But if you want to play a little bit more in your dreams, then it's really powerful to even set up a little, like an altar near your bed, or make sure the space around your bed is clear of clutter. And set up a little altar of something that represents what you want to know in your dream or what you want to experience. You might even write it out and put it in a little satchel and add some flowers and tuck it underneath your pillow, or just leave it on a little altar by your bed. But set up your space specifically, and then before you go to sleep, do some deep breath practices, like a 10 count in deep into your belly and a 10 count out, just exhaling it all. And then speak aloud your intention. You can do the breath work, and then you could speak something like, while I sleep tonight, I would love to rest. I would love to experience more of a connection to my spirit guides. I would love to understand what I need to know about 2025. I would love to understand how my spiritual and psychic gifts work. I would love to know how to turn on my intuition. I would love to experience my intuition in my dreams. So this third ritual is to clear everything out from the day, ground your energy, get rid of it all. And then make sure that you set up your space to support you to have good rest without distraction and clutter. And then do breath work and set an intention. If you work these 3 rituals, and from these 3 rituals you can create spells for. So based upon what happens when you are sitting in contemplation to drop into the circadian rhythm of what's happening in the world, and then number 2, you're sitting and doing fire gazing, and then number 3, you're setting intentions for your dream time. All of that is going to give you a ton of information. It's going to come through your body, your spiritual gifts and psychic gifts, and intuition is going to speak to you. And when it speaks to you, then you use that information to create the spells for your winter magic. I'm really excited to see how this works for you, so make sure you leave a comment on this video and subscribe. And all the links that I referenced are in the show notes. And I really hope to see you back, because I have some powerful videos coming in December to help you prepare for 2025.